Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We're ready to rock. Everybody's talking about Halloween Ends, the final trailer, so we're going to do it too. I've got Steven with me from Craving Something Scary and Michael from Movies and Beyond. Guys, we have not yet talked about this to each other, at least not in depth. I'm so curious to see what your thoughts are on this final trailer and what this may mean for what we will see in the next couple of weeks. Um, for you guys in the chat, thanks so much for hanging out with us. This was one of those things, as so many people know, we had heard that we were going to get the trailer today. I wasn't 100% sure because, we've heard those types of things before and, we may not get it. But anyways, we're here right now. Hey to all you folks, Extron, Val, Smells Like Teen Horror, Danny, Million, all you guys, Jason, Katie's in the chat. All right. Lee's
Nice.
in the chat. All right.
Hey,
You guys
Lee
are
has
all
been
right.
killing it, man.
Lee
Lee has
has been
been.
killing it.
That was
Wow.
Easy Top song. I'm bad. I'm nationwide. She's global, man. From
She
Finland,
is
baby.
global.
She is
Yes.
global.
Yes. Jason Dyer's in the chat too. What's going on, man?
What's up,
All right,
man?
let's get this thing going. Steven, I'm going to start with you because I know your time is a little bit short for this live stream. You saw the trailer. Just walk me through your thoughts or anything that comes to your mind.
Wow. Okay. Well,
I
man,
love that.
let me say this. I've seen it about 5 times
Yes.
in real time, which is important to note because I haven't
Yeah.
gone yet into content creator mode where I slow it to quarter speed and I start breaking frame by frame. That's going to start
Yes.
tonight. So
Mhm.
that's why I don't have a reaction video up for the trailer. I'm waiting till
Mhm.
tomorrow. So tomorrow you'll get something from me but I've just wanted to enjoy, or not even enjoy, just take in the trailer in real time with the score, with by the way, as far as tension building, as far as excitement,
Mhm.
I feel it in real time.
Yes.
It's there. The
Yes.
music is great. The build up is really good. The pacing
Yes.
of it is good. I'm very happy with the production of the trailer. Very much.
Yes. Mhm.
So I want to say that up front because when you go to quarter speed, you just mute it because everything's like,
Mhm.
and it's like, oh my gosh, this is some alien movie. So I like to hear the music, first.
Yes.
But I meander. I'll stop meandering. So basically, there's some things about Corey we learn in this trailer, in my opinion.
Mhm.
We
Yes.
learn, and they kind of gave away, well, we'll see. I think they gave away the origin point of the sewer because we see the sewer with the grass over, it's covered up with
Like moss
stuff,
and all that.
moss and
Yeah.
stuff. Thank you. And it's like, okay, excuse me, this, and then of course it's editing, could be trickiness,
Mhm.
but
Right.
then we see Corey who's looking in there very like it's his first time. I'm assuming that's his first time he's exploring, and then he even says Michael. Or no, or he says hello, or something like
Hello.
that.
Yeah.
Hello, he says hello, and then of course, then they let us actually see him walk in, and we get the choke, so we know that that's
Yes.
going to happen now. However, what's interesting is if you brighten up, one thing I did do, I did
Mhm.
stop the image after he grabs the chokehold, and they show us a new shot of Michael, of really tight on his face, like this.
Yes. Yes.
If
Mhm.
you if you snag that out and you brighten all the way up, he looks rough, man. That that mask
Yeah.
looks bad. Like
Yes.
I really think this looks like a guy that David said, who's been dormant. He's like a
Mhm.
bear in hibernation, and
Yes.
it's like you woke the bear up. You woke this guy, and he looks rough. And you remember the shot, and I'll stop here because I'm going really long.
That's okay.
And I'm just talking about like the sewer scenes. I ain't got to anything else. I mean, gosh, I feel like I'm just starting to crack open the egg. But
Right.
another one cool shot I did like was after he's down there, what Corey's down there. Michael grabs his knife, and it looks like it's got
Yes.
caked in dust, and like remember that scene? He pulls it out, and I'm like,
Yes.
ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was cool. But
I did too.
I love that. So anyway, I'll take a break for a minute because obviously I want to hear what you guys think too. But I just want to say this: as far as the sewer goes, I think we know what to expect when they first meet. And here's the thing: you know how we see him getting choked? You
Mm-hmm.
know, Corey's getting choked. I think, and this may sound crazy, and I could be dead wrong, and I hope I actually am dead wrong, but I don't think I am. I believe that he will ask Michael to stop. He'll be like, Michael, please wait. And
Mm-hmm.
Michael will stop. And
Hmm.
he will actually talk to Michael Myers. I know I'm getting way out there in wonky land right now, but there was a
No.
comment made that was I can't remember where I heard it at now.
I know
It
what
was
I think I know what you're talking about
you,
too.
you talking about like remember like Michael wants
Batman
like
and
a
Robin.
colleague. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And Michael may actually like endorse Corey somehow. I don't know. I'm just there's something I just watched that scene, guys. I didn't feel like Corey's dying there at all.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't get that sense about it. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, man. Yeah, it's a lot to unpack.
Oh, so
My
much.
Michael, how about you, man? I know it's been an interesting afternoon for you, man, but what are your thoughts, bro?
Let's start with I I'm glad that it didn't reveal like Kills revealed. So
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
definitely want to start there. It left a lot of mystery and it left a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people talking like I think this may happen, I think that may happen, I
Mm-hmm.
think this could happen. In all honesty, I hope he kills Core in the cave and puts that whole thing to bed. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what I want.
Right,
Is that
right,
what's
right.
going to happen? You know, who knows? I think they did a really good job of keeping the mystery of what's really going on in this movie, even through the final trailer. I mean, we got a lot of bits and pieces here and there,
Mm-hmm.
along the way, but for the most part, still at the end of the day, I don't feel like the movie's been ruined at this point, like I did with
Yeah.
Kills. Like
Good point, man.
with
Mm-hmm.
Kills, I was like, could you imagine? I hate to go backwards, but could you imagine going into Halloween Kills and not seeing the scene of him walking out of that fire?
Right. That's what
Oh,
we've
How
talked about.
awesome
Yes.
that would have
yes.
been to
Yeah.
see that
Yep.
live for the first time on the big screen, to see Michael come out
Exactly.
of that fire.
Yes.
And I'm hoping, that there are a lot of cool things that we haven't seen yet, that we're gonna see in this. I mean, the way
Yeah.
Michael looked in the sewer, the
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
mold, he had mold on his knife, and you touched on
Yeah.
that a little bit. I mean, the mold continued from the side of his face down his body, even onto his knife. He's
Mm-hmm.
been, down there for a while. God only
Right.
knows what he's been eating or what he smells like at this point, but
Oh yeah.
he is rough. Look at that right there. Like
Mm-hmm.
that alone. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
rough. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
I did make a video earlier today. I actually flew home from work, jumped in front of my computer, filmed it right then and there.
Right.
Um, and yeah, when it was over, I was like, wow, I still don't know a whole lot more than I knew prior to this.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
great. I
Mm-hmm.
think they did a
Agreed.
really good job with this, and I think that they learned a few things from when they did the trailer for Kills.
Yeah, man,
Mm-hmm.
you would hope so. No, those are some good points, man, and I agree. I feel as though it gave you some things, but it didn't go to the heart of it. When they did that firefighter scene in Kills, they
Oh.
literally told you how Michael survived the end of 2018 and what he was going to do as soon as he came out of the burning building. And I
Yeah.
think that was a huge mistake. And also, real quick, quick in the chat, smells like Teen Hours saying, "Hey, Knight, just want you to know you pulled me away from the Yankee game." All right, man. Halloween ends can do that. All right, very very cool. And real quick too, we have a super chat coming in. Thank you so much from good old American Turkey Burger. Thank you
Hey.
so much. $5 super chat saying, "Hey guys, do you think it will be 10 years before someone reboots this franchise again after ends?" I think it could. I think it could be. I think it could be almost 10 years. It could be less. It'll be more than 3 or 4, I would say for sure. And if it's anything, you know, like within 3 to 5 years, 3 to 6 years, I think it could be some type of offshoot, to be quite honest. That's
Mm-hmm.
just my personal part of that is my wish as well. What do you think, Steven? Do you think it's going to be another 10 years like it seems to usually be, from Rob Zombie to
Hmm.
18 and from, so forth and so forth? Do you think it'd be 10 years?
I don't. I think it's going to be sooner because
Hmm.
if this movie does 150
Hmm.
million or more,
Yeah.
and then the last one did 150, and then the one before that did 250, and the last two are being, well, ends and kills both being dropped on Peacock the same day, and they're going
Right.
to get subscription, which we're not going to see that money, but they do.
Right.
They see the subscriptions. So my prediction is this: if they do 150 or more, then 3 to 5 years we'll have another film. That's my guess. I
Okay.
I really do. I think there's if this series had come out, this trilogy came out and did 100 million, 120, 90, ooh,
Hmm.
I'd be like, guys, this is it. Get ready for a decade of nothing from
Right.
but it just seems to me there's no reason to give it 3 to 5 years. That's enough to because again, let's remember we've gotten a Halloween on October 15th and October 14th the following year. So I get
Right.
that that's fast. Like that's a lot. But if you give 3 to 5 years, that's plenty of a break in my opinion. And
Hmm.
if I'm Malik Akkad, I'm like, okay, I can make another $200 million in 3 years, or I can wait for till 10 years.
Right.
I'm
Right.
gonna be
Right.
like, let's go. I'm finding somebody, and we're gonna make this movie. That's just me.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion. I think 3 to 5 is the number if it does
All right.
150 or more. Yeah.
All right. How about you, Michael? What do you
I
think?
you said exactly what I was going to say. It's all going to come down to what's a COD's bank account look like at the end of the day.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I made all this money. You knew Halloween 18 was going to make the most because we were getting a continuation of the original. We
Right.
hadn't had Halloween in a long time. The last Halloween we had was Rob Zombie's. I'll just leave it at Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, it had been what at that point, 8, 9 years,
Yeah. 9 years.
Nine.
something
Yeah.
like that. So
Hmm.
I mean, people wanted a Halloween movie at that point. And you
That's
got to
right.
remember too, this is something a lot of people forget when they talk about money with these movies is there are a lot of us that are, big horror fans,
Hmm.
but we are a small portion of the population that sees these movies. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like
Right.
Hmm.
we will look at these, we will break them down, but when you talk about sheer numbers, the people that go to see these movies,
Hmm.
half the people they're thinking about what do you want to do this weekend? Well, it's close to Halloween. I want to go see that new Michael Myers movie. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Yep.
that's what it is. So
Right.
I mean it's I think that they'll make one in the next 3 to 5 years if this does a certain amount of money, which
Hmm.
I think that Halloween 18 and Kills have already surpassed the budget for them to make one sooner.
Hmm.
Um,
Yep.
but if this doesn't bomb, which I don't think it will, I think it's going to be 3 to 5 years to where
Yep.
there's something. I mean, it could be a show on Netflix about,
Hmm.
something else to do with Halloween. It could be,
Hmm.
I think it might be a little early for a reboot of
Hmm.
sorts, to start
Right.
all over. But
Hmm.
I definitely think there will be something Halloween in the next 3 to 5 years.
All right. Well, there you
Yep.
go. Well, American Turkey Burger, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate that. It helps out so very much. Thank you, and thank you. And Kyle's in the chat too. What's going on? What's
Hey,
going on,
Kyle.
Kyle? And we've got a super chat also from Jennifer. Thank you so much.
Nice.
We really appreciate you, Jennifer. Seriously.
Yes.
So kind of you. Saying, so glad you had this stream today. Thanks, Night. Oh, well, well, thank you. We really appreciate it. And it's always fun talking about this stuff. Guys, let me jump in a little bit further because in the trailer, and for you guys that have not seen the trailer, we're going to start to get a little bit deeper into this. But in the trailer, we have that scene where Laurie is pulling the mask off.
Hmm.
Now, I don't know, I know, Stephen, I know you said you watched it in regular time and stuff like that. I did too, but there was a couple times where I did, do the old pause and this and this and that. When
Hmm.
she pulls that mask off in the trailer, who do you guys think it is? I'll start with you, Stephen.
Okay. So I that the first time I saw the pulling off was
Mm-hmm.
on that. It was on the TV spot 9 that came out a few days ago. It's very recent, and
Yeah.
so I went in there and grabbed it and looped it and slowed it down quarter speed. I went hardcore on it. I lightened the screen up as bright as I could. I even, dude, just to tell you how much I'm in it, I took a still shot and I rotated it around so I could see it from the other view, like looking at the face straight up instead of upside down.
Wow, man.
I have tried hard to
Yeah.
figure that. Let me tell you, I unless it's just my eyeballs deceiving me, they have made it impossible. I'm going to actually say it. Unless someone can show me wrong differently, I don't think there's any way to identify it. They did a brilliant job, and I'm happy because I was the whole time. Here I am sitting here like trying to figure it out, and I'm saying out
Yes.
loud, "Please don't let me know. Please don't let me see who this is." And I'm sitting here like growing bigger and brighter, but they did a good job. All I can see is what looks like a nose, chin, perhaps,
Yeah.
maybe the side of the left forehead a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but it's at such an angle that all you see is just the outline. You see there's no features, hair. Now, I did do a slow mo. It looks like it could possibly be a little bit of gray, and I'm like, but I can't be sure it's gray. It could also be
Ah,
brown or
okay.
blonde depending on the light. So,
Okay.
in my opinion, and I've gone back and forth on this night, and I originally thought it was going to be Corey.
Yes.
But I'm really thinking now, because of the other events in the trailer, like
Mm-hmm.
someone picking up Michael Myers' mask off the table.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're going to pick up his mask, it has to be off his face. And so we've got Laurie killing this person two-handed with a knife in the chest,
Mm-hmm.
taking the mask off like this. What if it's James Jude Courtney
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually Michael Myers? And this is when Laurie calls Hawkins and everyone comes out. She walks outside. She leaves the mask on the table. And by the way, the scene where the mask is shown,
Yep.
there is a bloody knife next to it. If you brought the
Mm-hmm.
screen up,
Yes, I
and
saw
so,
that.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So that tells me there's been a battle, and I think this is after Laurie kills him. So here's what I'm going to say. Here's my long-winded answer because I try to be thorough, Knight. You know I do.
Yeah.
So here's the long answer for you. I believe it's going to be, gosh, I may change this the week of, okay, for final predictions, but for 2 weeks out, right now it's going to be Michael Myers. And yes, that means he dies before the finale of the movie. That means that Corey is the final showdown, or the copycat, who I think is Corey, is the final showdown.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's Myers, dude. And that's how Corey gets the mask, because Laurie takes it off and she sets it down next to the knife. He comes in and grabs it.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. How about you, Michael? What did you think in that scene?
Well, after my careful analysis of what I saw when I watched the trailer one time at regular speed, I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was Michael. I didn't, break it down. I didn't really stop it. I just kind of watched it. I watched it a couple times at this point, but I haven't slowed it down or anything. I
Okay.
thought it was Michael. But Craven, you have me thinking. Like, I will probably riot if that happens. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if
I know.
Michael dies in
Yes.
like mid movie.
Yep.
I don't know if people write stern letters anymore. But I feel
What are
like
letters?
They
yeah,
started
I
back
feel
again.
like I will start a stern letter at that point, just for the simple fact, like, I,
Yeah.
don't do that to me. You
I
know what I
know.
mean? Like,
I
Right.
I've been
know.
avoiding so much with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
All the TV spots I've seen, like maybe one. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like, oh yeah, I'll wait for the trailer. I'll wait for the trailer.
Right.
But I thought it was Michael. I didn't slow anything down, and I didn't, do anything like that. But most of which, in the mask, it seemed like Michael to me. It seemed like the moldy. You know what I mean? I feel like at
Mm-hmm.
least if it's Corey, he'd have a clean set of coveralls. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's not going to steal that from Michael too, is he? I mean,
True enough.
that's
Well,
Yeah. We hope not.
you
Well,
never
we
know.
well, hey, you're right. Well, there's been some images where,
Mm-hmm.
the overalls, they do look a little bit different. They look a little bit cleaner or not as clean as we should say. You know what
It's
I mean? So
true.
it's really, I think that's one way to tell, other than of course the left hand, to tell if it's Michael or the copycat. But and Jacob, I'll get to your question in a second here too. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys. When I watched it the very first time, and then I watched it a couple more times, for a split second, man, it almost didn't look like James Jude Courtney. Now I know that they don't want us to see it, right? And you only see that
Hmm.
outline of, but and I'm gonna do some more of it. I'm gonna get deeper into it as well because I had just seen it, late this afternoon. But man, there was a couple times when I watched it because I kept going back to that scene, and it was a couple times when it looked like I saw a little bit of dark hair,
Hmm.
like, and I could be totally wrong. Maybe I'm just seeing what I want to see because, like Michael was saying, I do not want Myers killed halfway through the movie. But one thing that we talked about on the Lethal Collective the other day, or I should say yesterday, was
Hmm.
what if she does kill him, quote unquote, halfway through the movie?
Yep.
Corey continues to do what he's doing, and then Michael Myers comes back somehow, some way,
Yes.
and of course, execution is everything. And Lori thinks it's Corey, but it's actually Michael at the end. Like the last whatever 15 minutes, whatever it is, and then they have a second battle. You know, now I could deal with that. Because that would play into the whole idea of not knowing who's behind the mask.
Hmm.
I get, and that's the point I wanted to make, and see what you guys think too. Is, to me, what intrigues me about the copycat thing is that at some point Lori shouldn't know who it is, or she should be confused, or at least, she'll be thinking, "Oh, that's Corey," and whatever, and then bam, realizes, "Oh shit, this isn't Corey. This is really Michael." And I would love to see that played out some way, somehow in the movie. Hopefully near the end. But do you think? And I'll start with you, Steven. Actually, let me just jump to Jacob before I go to you, Steven. Saying, how many kills do you think Michael will get? To me, based on the trailer's spots and the soundtrack, I think Michael will get 6 or 7 or close to 10. Corey, it could be 6. Um, I haven't really come up with a number. I would hope it would be at least 6. I do
Hmm.
think Corey's going to get a couple. Um, but I haven't really thought of a specific number. I would like to think it's at least 6. It's Halloween ends. We got to have Michael, the real Michael, kill at least a handful of people. Uh,
Yes.
what do you
Yes.
think, Steven?
Yeah, I think 6 or 7 is probably closer to the where it'll be. I think 10's too high because remember
Yeah,
this because Halloween Kills he got like 30 kills, 28.
yeah,
I can't remember what the number was. Anyway, it was really high,
yeah.
and
Hmm.
so David's warned us and prepared us that this is going to be more intimate. It's not going to be the crazy insanity like we saw in Kills, which I
Right.
loved. But
Yes.
I think 6 or 7 feels right to me, and
Yeah.
I think Corey. You're right. I don't think Corey gets a ton. I think he's more like 2 or 3. Is
Yeah,
about it.
that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Especially if they want you to kind of feel the weight of it, where it's like he killed, he's upset. This is the way I've always looked at it. He's obsessed with the boogeyman, and now
Hmm.
he's taking that step over the line to
Yep.
become the boogeyman. And it
That's
shouldn't
right.
be a scene where he just kills someone. He's like, "All right, next," and then goes to someone
Yeah.
else. It should be some weight to it,
Yeah.
in order for us to feel what's going on. That's what I think.
Well, and,
How
and you
about you,
remember
Mark?
that scene night real quick on
Uh-huh.
kind of piggybacking. There's that scene in the trailer where we see it only waist down, and
Hmm.
it's someone in a Michael's jumpsuit holding the mask, and he's standing like in the street,
Yeah, yeah.
and he has all of his fingers on the left hand.
Yes, and plus the outfit, it looks a
It
little
looks big.
like the person is shorter,
Yes,
It looks a little
agreed.
baggy, I should say.
It's a
So,
little
and
baggy.
we
That's the
do
word.
yes, and we do know that James Jude Courtney is taller than Rowan, so who's playing
Hmm.
Corey. So that would make sense.
Well, you can see that in the cave too when he grabs him. He's way bigger than he
Ye-
is.
Hmm.
yes,
You know what I mean?
yes.
Like
Yeah,
that's one of the things that has me thinking like how is Jamie Lee Curtis not going to be able to tell a difference between these two people? You
right,
know?
right. Because I think there's at least
Yep.
like 4 or 5 inches between the two actors.
Oh, at least.
Yeah,
Plus
At
the
least,
yeah,
yeah.
fingers. Remember the fingers too. It's a
that's
dead
right.
You know,
giveaway.
I don't
Hmm.
trust the fingers in a trailer. Okay, and
Right.
that's one thing, like you can show a trailer, okay, and maybe they just hadn't taken his fingers off yet. Like
Right.
trailers are deceiving. Hey, let's send this trailer out and let's put 5 fingers on Michael just to screw with everybody.
Right. Like they did
Like
with Avengers with
yeah,
Thanos and the Gauntlet,
yeah,
with
and
the Affinity
the
Gems. Yeah.
Incredible Hulk was supposed to be in, what was the first one? Was that Infinity War?
Infinity War. Yeah.
Yeah, like it showed him in the trailer and Wakanda, and he was never
Yes.
in that movie.
That's
Like the
right.
Hulk never made an appearance, but yet in the trailer, he's
Right.
running with everybody else.
I know, man. That was such a great shot too, man.
That's the thing with the trailers. It's breaking them down and everything. It's great, but at the same time, it's like, haha, that isn't even in the movie. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
you always have to be
Yes.
aware of that to say, how are they going to change this when the movie comes out? Because I've seen it too many times. Avengers being a great example of that because it was so
Yes.
blatantly obvious.
Spider-Man as well.
Oh yeah, when they took the Spider-Man out of the
That's right.
scenes, it's look, man, this is the last Halloween. I trust nothing, that I see now to say that this is how it's going to be, because I mean, it could be totally different at the end of the day. I mean, how many rumors have you heard? Well, I saw this movie and this person saw this movie and they're both Halloween ends.
Right.
Like who knows what they're doing? We can only speculate, but at the end of the day, we're only given what they give us, and they only give us what they want us to see.
Absolutely. No, I
Yep.
agree. Uh, and Jacob was saying Michael better not die before the finale.
I know. I know, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take a petition for my sternly written letter that I send if it happens.
Yeah, right.
Start
Yeah.
drafting a
Start
template.
signing it. Right. The general is in the chat too. Val's here saying, I have not watched the new trailer yet. I'm holding out. Wow.
Wow.
All right.
All right, as the hot dog would say, yeah, there you go, Knight. You beat me to it. Wow.
Wow, Val's got the determination. That's great. That's great. What's up, Michael? Michael Joe's in the chat. But Lee is saying killing Michael halfway through the movie would be an interesting move. We shall see.
Okay.
It would have to be. God, they just have to do it right, man. It's all about execution, man. I mean, but we'll see. We'll see. Jason, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. A $10 super chat, much appreciated. Saying what I want ends: the Iron Lady, Sheriff Barker to throw down the law. Special appearance by Bucky, Freddie Harris, or Night at the DJ, and the Halloween
Special
3
appearance by Bucky.
commercial. To come on at the end of the movie, Bucky from Halloween 4.
Yes. That's awesome.
Oh my god.
Dang.
Oh, man. I hate to tell you, bro, but I don't think that's gonna.
Let's just say this: if Bucky comes back, it will be an electrifying experience. Okay, that's all I can say.
Good one. You're all right. Jason, man, thank you so much for the super chat. Much appreciated. It definitely
Nice.
helps to keep the lights on. And man, so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It'd be electrifying. Too funny. And Lee saying Lori could be delusional and kind of out of it, thinking she fights the real Michael, but it's a copycat, at least in one point in the movie. We've talked about that as well. I definitely think that is a possibility, that at some point her mind starts playing tricks on her. And I think that could be really, really cool. From what we've seen in these spots, it seems like we're getting like the outer layer, so to speak. It seems like we're not really getting the meat and potatoes. Does that?
Yep.
Do you guys get that feeling, or is it just me? Because the movie is what, Steven? In an hour and 55?
They actually, last time it's locked in, I heard it was 2 hours now. It's the actual. It's a 2-hour runtime.
All right. So there's a lot of stuff we have not seen,
Yes.
From these spots, but it just feels like there's an extra card they're holding back. And I think it's almost that type of thing where if they were to have revealed it, it definitely would have totally opened up the floodgates. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think that there's a lot that they're not showing us. That's what I was talking about before. Like, this is the last Halloween movie. It's, you're going to keep it close to your chest. And You know,
Yeah.
they're not really, they're only giving us, you know, what they want us to see at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I think that they will have learned something from giving away too much of kills.
Yeah.
Do you remember when this movie was made and they finished shooting? Nobody was talking about anything
Yes.
for how
Yes.
long
Yes, for
before
ages.
anybody said anything. So
That's right.
I feel like they're keeping this one, you know, really close, because
Yes.
they don't want, you know, a repeat of what happened with Kills. But I mean, Kills was a victim of, you know, COVID. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like it was on the shelf for like what, a year,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
so trying to keep a secret for over a year, you know, at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day, this one has a better chance. And I honestly believe in my heart, maybe I'm hoping more than I believe, that
Yeah.
we have no idea what we're talking about. And I could
Yeah.
only hope to God that that's the case. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, no, I'm with
Yeah.
you. I totally hope that's the case too, man, because I want to be surprised. I want
I
to
do too.
enjoy the things I don't know or that I didn't expect. That would be,
hmm
man, that'd be so cool, seriously. I think there's a chance for it.
I
I
think
really
so
do.
too. I
There's a
do.
chance. Now, two things tonight I want to mention. First one is, do you remember that scene in the trailer? It's the only time we've ever seen this scene. It's a new, where Allison is talking to Lori, and she says something to the effect of, you're pretending you're over this. You're not really.
Right.
She's like basically saying you're not okay. You're acting
Right.
like you're okay, but you're really not. Which we've talked about as a possibility for a while, that she she's pretending she's over
Mm-hmm.
this. She's kind of like one of those things where if you just lie to yourself every day, you'll start to
Yes.
believe it, kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, and she's calling her out on it. Like Allison's
Yeah.
calling her out, saying you're not really okay.
Right.
You're not being truthful, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to get the wording again when I rewatch
She
it. But
said you're obsessed with death.
yeah, there you go. That's it. You're
Mm-hmm.
obsessed with death. And then the other thing I want to throw out, again, I'm going to wonky. That's the secret word of the day is wonky. Okay, that's for any of you like Pee Wee's Playhouse. That's way back. Anyway, I'm going way
Oh,
back to the
I was
80s.
there, man. I
Yeah.
remember. I was there.
We knew where you
Secret
were going
word,
with it.
baby, every Saturday. Okay,
I was
so
there.
the secret word is wonky. And I say that because if this theory, and it's only a theory right now, if Michael and Corey together, if they're actually coexisting,
Mm-hmm.
and what if both of them are in the kitchen battle? And
Yes.
the scenes we're seeing in the trailer, we're like, well, that doesn't quite look like Myers.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
because they're both there, but we don't.
Yes.
They're only we, and they're showing clips of each of them
Mm-hmm.
tag teaming her.
Yes. I've thought that too. I totally agree because it would kind of make sense because like you said, sometimes in that kitchen scene it doesn't look like
Mm,
James Jude Courtney the way he moves. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like that scene where Laurie is thrown over the counter, that looks like James Jude Courtney, number one.
Yes,
And also when he throws her, it's like he's throwing her with one good arm. And that's what it looks like.
that's
You know what
right.
I'm saying? Like his
Yes.
left arm is kind of hanging there, which granted, you know, I guess they could have Corey do that to fake the hand. I don't know, but it looks like James Jude Courtney. But I know exactly what you mean. I think that both Michael and the copycat will be in the house. I think at
hmm
first Laurie is gonna see Corey, that scene where he comes up the stairs, opens the door, and I think Laurie is gonna think or realize that it's Corey or
Yep.
not Michael,
hmm
and then Michael is going to be there, kind of like one of those moments, like, oh crap, it's real now.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's a possibility, Michael?
I hope not. I don't want any of that, you guys. And I'm sorry. I just feel like, okay, and to go back to answer your question, let's say that Michael grabs Corey in the cave, which we've seen. I
Yes.
feel like that's like, hey, look at my wrist. I have a thorn tattoo. And Michael's like, oh, me too. Here, get up. Let me dust you off. I'm
Oh
sorry.
no.
And then we go down that route where, okay, now they're buddies and they're going to do buddy things. He's like, hey, this girl cut my fingers off. Let's go get her first. Like I really don't want that. I hope that a lot of the stuff that we're seeing, is Jamie Lee Curtis losing her mind, and
Yes.
hmm
seeing like all these crazy things we see that we're trying to make like it could be this, it could be that. I'm hoping that that's her character dealing with trying to be normal
Hmm.
and dealing with losing her shit, because not only did she go through what she went through, she lost her daughter too. Let's throw that on
Yes.
top of that.
And
You
she
know what I
says that
mean?
in the trailer,
And it's
which they
just
were
like,
talking about in the live
look,
chat too.
you take a normal person in that situation, even the best of us are gone at that
Hmm.
point. You've got
Right.
someone that you think has been after you for how many years. You find out he wants nothing to do with you. He doesn't even care about you. You're nobody to him,
Hmm.
but then he kills
Hmm.
your daughter. So
Yeah.
I really don't know, man. Like it's, I'm kind of battling with that to say, how much of this is real and how much of this is maybe her losing her mind and
Yes.
seeing a lot of this stuff that we're trying to make sense out of and it not make any sense because she's going crazy.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. I and also, and Jason, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Really appreciate you, man. Killing Myers in the middle was a bold move, Cotton. It
Yep.
is.
That
It
is.
is. And who knows if it's gonna come off good or not. But I agree with you, Michael. I think that if they're both in the kitchen, it could be weird. This whole idea of them kind of coexisting or kind of teaming up or however they worded it, Stephen, when we were talking on
Hmm.
the Lethal Collective, it has to be done in a really good way to make me be on board with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Um, and I can see a couple ways where they could do it that way. Who knows? I mean, but I do agree. I'd love to see Lori have a lot of moments where she doesn't know if she's in reality.
Yeah.
Like we
Hmm.
saw scenes in the trailer. And don't get me wrong, I know some folks aren't big on nostalgia. I love nostalgia as long as it's done right. But you saw
Yep.
that scene where she looks out of the window
Hmm.
down at the street, nothing's there. It looked so similar to 78. The only difference is
Yep.
that Jamie Lee Curtis is older. But, they did a couple scenes like that. And I think that that would be so interesting to see her kind of devolve
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
this movie. Like I do believe she's going to have some healing. I think she's going to have some
Hmm.
healing because I think she's going to try to hold on to her granddaughter and try to have some type of a life. But I think what would be very interesting is as all that's going on, she's like she said, I thought I saw him watching me. We saw
Yeah.
Yep.
that part in the trailer and stuff like
Hmm.
that. That would be amazing. And it could be moments where even us as the viewers, we don't know for sure,
Yeah.
is that Michael? Is it nothing? Is it Corey? You know what I'm saying? Like that could be
Yep.
interesting if it's pulled off correctly. I
I
I
agree.
would definitely love to because it's supposed to be more intimate, more self-contained
Hmm.
movie. We've got the nods to Christine, so Corey's dealing with his
Yep.
his obsession. Allison is kind of caught in the middle, trying to live her life and deal with the loss of her mother and her father and so forth. And Laurie is trying to be strong and move on, but is getting pulled back
Hmm.
into that mythology of the boogeyman. I think it'd be some really cool stuff. Um, Real quick too, Apollo gives a super chat, $2 super
Hey.
chat. Thank you so much appreciated. Saying, think we'll see an Empire Strikes Back twist. Ooh, well,
Mm.
look, we've talked about some ideas. We've we've talked about some brothers and
Yes, that's
some
right.
different familiar ties. One thing I don't think will happen, I don't think, because I've heard this as a rumor, or maybe it's just speculation. I don't think they're gonna go back and say Michael and Laurie are brother and sister. I
Mm.
don't I
I
don't
don't
see
either.
that. Do you guys? I'll start with you, Steven. Do you think there's going to be any type of twist, and I'm assuming Apollo, and let me know if we're wrong. I'm assuming you mean like to Luke, I am your father, some type of family
Hmm.
tie or what have you. But Steven, do you think there'll be any type of reveal at that level or any other bigger twist that comes to your mind?
Mm. The only thing, if there's, to me, if there's going to be that kind of a twist, it's going to involve Hawkins because they have this
Right.
huge story that David wrote in 18. I mean, in Kills, where we have the whole backstory really fleshed out of how he let Michael live. He's lived
Mm-hmm.
with that regret his whole life, which to me that's a great arc, and I hope it's foreshadowing something,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah,
really
definitely.
do. Yeah, I do. I
Yeah.
don't. If this movie comes and goes, and Hawkins is just a side player, I'll be
Mm-hmm.
a little disappointed because I'll be like,
Yes.
Yeah,
why
same
why
here.
did you? Yeah, because I
Yeah.
want to see him get his redemption that he's
Yes.
wanting.
Hmm.
So I think if we have a like a maybe a little unforeseen twist, it's going to be Hawkins involved, and
Mm.
maybe he's the one somehow that puts the final bullet or the final blow on Myers in some way.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, I definitely think that Hawkins needs to get his due. I mean, he's paid
Hmm.
his dues in that. You know, he got stabbed
yeah,
in the neck, he got ran over by a car. Give the guy
Yeah, he
something. You know what
did.
I
no
mean? And
doubt, man.
Jesus, the poor guy's been through it. You know, like
He
he,
has.
just to make him a side character in the last one. It's like, well, then why'd I have to get stabbed in the neck and ran over by the car? You know, like
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just gonna be this
Yes.
guy in
Yep.
here.
Yes.
But yeah, they did leave that open to where he was talking to Lori like, hey, I want it to be more than that. Like, did
Yeah.
they go any for I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, I think Hawkins, especially the actor, he's fantastic in everything that he does, and
Yeah.
Yes, he
definitely
is.
deserves, to have his story, be a little more frontline. I mean, they even did the flashback, like we were saying with him.
Hmm.
It was a lot of things to do with him, and I hope that he gets, his part in this movie as well.
Wouldn't it be
I
great
agree.
if? Oh, go ahead.
Go
Sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna interject super quick. Like, wouldn't it be cool if at the finale scene, which it looks like the ending of this movie is happening at this junkyard, because we get that shot of Allison and Lori standing side by side, and Lori has
Hmm.
blood from her neck all the way down her chest. She's covered in
Yes.
blood, and they're outside there. So wouldn't it be cool if like Allison and Lori are just taking turns, just stabbing Michael, beating Michael, just doing all this, and then Hawkins steps up with his pistol and he's like, "It's time, Michael," and he puts the gun to his forehead and just bam! It's like,
I'm gonna do what I
Wow.
should have did 44 years
Yes.
ago.
yes,
44. Yes, that's right. That's
I've
right.
waited
Yeah.
44 years for this, and bam! He just hits him head, dead shot in the forehead, man.
Well, I
Yeah.
do agree, man. Will Patton, he's a great character actor, and I definitely think they have to have some type of arc in Halloween
Yeah.
Ends that he
Hmm.
plays out with. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
otherwise, don't get me wrong, and we've talked about obviously him and Lori might be together, and that's part of her healing. It's also part of his healing. So, that could be one reason why he was brought back, but I just tend to hope and think that it'll be a little bit more significant, even if it
yeah,
means, like you guys said, at the end, if they do overcome Michael, that he's a big part of that, and
I
and
agree.
and
Yeah.
redeems himself. That would make sense.
yes. Wouldn't it be great? Yeah.
Apollo, thank you so much for the super chat. We really, really appreciate it. Good question. I love the idea of the Empire twist. Sosa's in the chat too. What's going on? New to the
Hey,
channel.
Sosa.
In the trailer, I should say, we get a bit of stalking, and it was giving me OG 78 vibes. Not saying the movie's going to be as good or better than 78, just
Yeah.
thought the stalking they
Hmm.
showed was great. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. I'm so glad that we're seeing Michael stalking, especially that scene where he was right there by the tree and Lori is right
Yeah.
there and she turns and looks, and of course he's gone because
That
he's the
over the
shape.
shoulder shot, man. I love it with
Yes.
Michael where he just pans into view and then
Hmm.
he's gone.
Yes.
To me that's
Yes.
yeah.
It's
Absolutely. I
awesome.
mean, and that's the type of stuff that I've missed, some things where Michael, like I said, Michael's mythology is such an interesting one, and the stalking and the setup to the carnage is what really, to me, kind of separates him, from the other iconic horror villains. So I'm definitely getting some of those 7-8 vibes too. I'm sure you guys got those vibes through these TV spots in this final trailer as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah.
especially in the
Yeah.
trailer, where he I don't know if we know that character's name or not, but the female that he kills, he
The
bobs her
redhead.
up against the painting,
Yeah. Not sure who
like
that
he
is
sticks
yet.
the knife in her. I was a
Yeah.
little disappointed, I'm not gonna lie, that they did show that in the trailer because I thought that would have been a cool nod watching it for the first time. Like, hey,
Sure.
remember Bob in
Yes.
the first one? You know what I
Yep.
That's
mean?
right.
That was
Hmm.
a thing with that. But yeah, definitely got old school vintage Myers vibes from quite a few
Yeah.
things in there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I also love that scene, and not to go through every little bit of the trailer, but it was like you said, both of you guys said, it was put together very well. I loved the music, the play
Oh
on
yeah.
Carpenter's theme. and it was very epic and it went with the trailer. But I love that scene where Laurie, and we've seen this picture, we talked about it on the Lethal Collective too, Stephen, but Laurie is in the doorway, kind of looking out. And in
Mm-hmm.
the background, just out of focus a little bit, you see Michael standing up, and it looks like it's James Jude Courtney. He looks bald. So it looks like it's James Jude Courtney, but they show that scene. And then, of course, from the 78 movie, when Michael stands up right before he comes behind Laurie and stabs her and she falls down the stairs. Stuff like that, man. I
Yeah.
just I just eat it up. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
especially as a fan of 78. But we're getting these vibes. Now here's my question, and I know we're gonna be wrapping up pretty soon. So for you guys in the
Yeah.
live chat, if you have any questions, throw us a super chat. We'll try to get to them real quick before we have to end out here. But here's my question, guys. We've seen these shots of Michael, and some of these shots you can't really tell, because you don't see the hand, and you may not get the full perspective of Michael to see how tall he may be, and so forth and so
Yeah.
forth. Do you think some of these iconic shots that we've already seen in these spots in the trailer, where it's Michael stalking and doing all the cool shit we want to see him do you think that those could be Corey? And if so, is there a percentage that in other words, some of these great moments that we're seeing and loving right now, what if a lot of those is actually Corey or the imposter, whatever we want to call him? What do you think, Stephen?
Excuse me. Yeah, and this is probably the last thing. And sadly, I'm on after this, but it's been such a fun time. I would
Yes.
say, uh, I know there's that one scene where we get the POV of him walking down the stairs, and there's the woman in front of him. That's not Lori. It's the woman who has the bow, which I guess Corey's mom. Personally, don't know that,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
that's not Michael because it's just not. And because we know, well, I shouldn't say we know, the scenes of the woman with the pillow being attacked. Yes, thank you. To me, that mask is too clean. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, even look at his jumpsuit. It's very clean looking to me. I could be wrong,
Yes.
and maybe it's Michael. I just don't feel it is though. I
Mm-hmm.
really don't. I think this is
Mm-hmm.
Corey, and I think that's his mom. We'll find out. And that was a POV shot of him walking down the stairs. So I think, however, I'm going to say 80%. No, I'll say 70. 70% of the POV shots are going to be Michael that we've seen.
Okay.
I'm going to go 70-30.
Okay. I really hope it is, man. I
I'm an
really do.
optimist, Knight.
I love it, man. It's good to be optimistic. Um, and man, I know you got to get going, but first of all, I just want to say, for you guys that are here in the live chat, please give the video a like. I also want to mention that I should have mentioned that earlier. Please give this video a like; it would help support the channel. We'd appreciate it. And as Steven's about to head on out, make sure you check out Craven Something Scary. I'm gonna have the link for his channel in the description. Also, Michael's at Movies and Beyond. So definitely check out their channels and support and sub to them. They're great guys, and it's always fun hanging out
Awesome.
with them and talking to them. So anyway, Steven,
Definitely.
thank you so much for being here, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. And I sent you guys a note in the private chat. I may go live later for like an
Okay.
hour to continue our discussion. So if you guys are
Okay.
available, I'd love to bring you over to the channel. Let me know. Hit me up on Instagram or text me. Let me know.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right, bro.
Thanks,
Sounds
Knight.
great,
Good to
man.
see you, Steven.
You too, Michael. Y'all take
All right.
care.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Okay.
See
See
ya.
ya. So Michael, as far as what you think, do you think it could be 70-30 as far as these iconic shots or the stalking shots that is Michael and not the imposter? Or do you think it could be a different percentage?
So here's what I'm thinking. Okay.
Hmm.
There are so many similarities between that and the 78.
Hmm.
I'm really starting to, you know, it's starting to grow on me that Lori's losing her mind. How much of
Mm,
this is she actually seeing? Or
yes.
how much of it looks like the stuff from 78? Is that her head, really playing with her? Is this
Hmm.
stuff really happening? Do you remember she
Yes.
said, I thought I saw him looking at me?
Yes.
Did she really
Hmm.
see him? Was he really there? It'd be cool if he was, but is she losing her mind? That's such the great that's one of the great things about this movie and the way that they're keeping it so close is we have no idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Agreed.
it's
Yeah.
fantastic. But if
Hmm.
it's me and I have to put a number on it, it's 100% Michael. He kills Corey in the cave. That's
Wow.
that's what I'm going with. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, now, and also just to say hello to my man Marcus, I shot him 6 times. The Bob homage girl character name is Dead Meat Lover. Seems she's Mathis's girlfriend too. Ooh, that would be interesting. Yeah, because Dr. Mathis is a character we have no idea what the hell he's doing. It's all like speculation and rumor at this point. But
Yeah.
to piggyback on what you were saying, Michael, if this is all in Laurie's head, it would explain a lot of things. Because one thing I kept thinking, and don't get me wrong, I can see how it could be based in reality, but why is she dressed up like she was in 78?
Exactly.
Why is that?
Right. And I
There's
mean, there's a lot of things like that.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's cool and all of that, and I've heard some people say it, and I've said it too. Maybe she's trying to bait Corey or
Right.
Michael, and say, "Come on and get me. We're going to do this like we did it 40 years ago." But you don't even have to do that, right?
I
You
don't
don't
I
have to.
don't even think that he even cared about her, let
Right,
alone remember what she was wearing.
right,
You know what I
right,
mean? Like
right. So the thing to me is like, why is she doing it? Yes, it could be based in reality, but kind of what you were saying, what if a lot
yeah,
of this is in her mind? And what if that whole scene isn't real? Now, and I know a lot of people in the live chat, they're about to riot. They'll be like,
oh,
no,
probably, yeah,
yeah. But I did do a video, and now it's been a long time ago because we've been talking about ends forever. But
yeah,
I did this video a long time ago, which really upset a lot of people. But it also made a lot of people say, that's interesting. And I'm going to say it. What if this or some of those scenes is a dream,
I mean,
of a
I don't think the
fever
whole
dream?
thing would be a dream. I think it's her
Right.
losing her mind, but it's along the same lines, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, I
It I
mean,
mean I mean, think about it, and I called it the dream catcher theory, where, she's basically just dealing with the trauma, and if you guys haven't seen that video, you gotta check it out. It was, I don't know, now it's been like at least 4 months ago, 3, 4 months ago. Anyways, but
yeah,
it kinda would explain some things,
yeah,
I mean, like I said, I don't know why she would get dressed up like that. She definitely doesn't have to. She's got her I mean, and I know some people are saying, "Okay, well, they did that for us, the nostalgia." But I don't know. I don't see them I don't see that being the reasoning. I really think that at some point there's either, these delusions or a dream or fever dream, I mean, nightmare fever dream or
yeah.
something like that. That makes sense to me, you
It
know?
it would keep us on our toes through the whole movie.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
yes.
It would be like, eh, yeah, man. Like, yeah, I dig that. For real.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, to me, it's kind of, there's a lot that we're not seeing in these trailers, and the thing that I always go back to is that they keep saying the ending is weird, that it's different, that
Yep.
it's a departure, that it's something. I think it was Christopher Nelson, or maybe it was James Drew Courtney, or maybe it was Nick Castle. Anyways, one of them, because a lot of people have said what they thought of the ending or the movie, and one of them said that people aren't going to see it coming. So, to me, that kind of eliminates the fact that Laurie wins in the end against Michael. Now, maybe like what Steven was saying earlier, maybe they will kill Michael early in the movie and then rock with Corey for the last 25 minutes or so, 30 minutes. That is something different, but I don't know, man. I still think that for the ending of this trilogy, you got to go harder than that, I don't know.
Now, I find humor in everything, and you know that about me. Like, I can't help it, but you know what would really piss everybody off is if Michael, like Luke Skywalker's from the cave and then just like disappears at the end, like he's projecting him, like that immediately popped in my head. Like, what would piss me off the most? He was in the cave the whole time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
it,
Yes.
I mean, there are so many possibilities with this movie. Realistically, it's probably going to be a little something more down to earth, but
Yeah.
uh definitely, man, I to make sense out of what we've seen,
Mhm.
it, I mean, there has to be some sort of, I mean, watch her, if you watch the trailer and she's lighting the pumpkin and everything, she looks
Mhm.
miserable, man. She looks like she is just going through the motions, that
Hmm.
she's not. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but she's
Not
not.
fully
I
at
don't.
peace.
Yeah, I don't think that she's good, and I think that a lot of the crazy stuff that we're seeing is because of that.
Yeah. Now that, and I'll be honest with you, I've mentioned that, but I haven't really thought deeply about it. But now we're talking about it, if that's a big part of this movie, like some of the meat and potatoes of this movie,
Yeah.
I could definitely deal with that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I
Yeah. I
definitely
mean, I
think
could
they could deal with
definitely
that.
deal with that way better than, Michael and Corey killing somebody together and then giving each other a high five afterwards and being buddies, like that's to me right there, that's get up and change the channel or walk out of the theater at that point. I'm
Right.
sorry, but I grew up with Michael Myers. I was born in 78. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I came up through the 80s. That was my thing, Friday the
Yes.
13th and Halloween. Um,
Yes. That's right.
yeah,
We're
so
we're we're,
it
we're part of it.
yeah. And I mean, you can't
Yes.
do that to me. You guys already took Star Wars from me. If you take
Right.
Halloween too, it's come on.
I
I'm done.
agree. You gotta end this right. Cody and also Marcus in the chat are saying that the guy in the pool, they think it's Dr. Mathis who's dead. That definitely could be the case. That did
Yeah.
cross my mind when I was watching it, as well. And Jacob saying the dream theory better not be real.
I saw that in the chat and I laughed a little bit while you were talking.
I'm just saying, man, like some of the stuff, it just doesn't add up. So
It doesn't.
put it this way: it's either a fever dream or nightmare moment or whatever, or delusions. Like
Yeah.
she's seeing stuff,
I mean,
man.
for
And
all we know, she could be having chronic nightmares and wake up every
exactly,
morning like freaking out, and that's what
yeah.
she saw. I mean, it could be a lot of different
That
things.
that's the one thing that we haven't seen from
Yeah.
her in these movies yet, and for someone that has spent 40 years preparing for Michael,
Yeah.
and then of course trying to heal in Halloween Kills, it would make sense to at least once
Right.
see
I
some
mean,
type of sleepless night that she
she
has.
did an H2O, if you remember, if you go
Yes,
back, like she had
that's right.
nightmares. So I
That's
mean,
right.
yeah, but anybody that goes through anything like that, I can only imagine, the things
Right.
that you're dreaming about.
I
I mean,
wouldn't
I
be
have a
able to
somewhat
sleep.
normal life and I dream about crazy shit all the time, let alone someone
Right?
that's been through, you know, all that stuff. Like, yeah, I do
Yes.
feel like that has to play into it somehow. And of course, it's just my opinion. I'm not saying, that's what it is.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Absolutely, man. Lee saying, I wouldn't mind a few good dream hallucination scenes. Same thing here. Same thing here. Jennifer saying, Knight, how could you make anyone mad? You are so sweet. I think there might be riots if this turns out to be a dream. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. I appreciate it. But like I said, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together because, like I said, why dress up like that? Again, maybe it's just for nostalgia's sake, but it just seems a little too over the top to do it just for us.
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I love nostalgia if it's done right. And
Yeah.
to me, that just seems so over the top. It's like, why dress up like you did in '78? Even the hair, it looks like it. So, anyways,
Well, some of
um,
them were close to shot for shot almost. You know what I mean?
yes,
Like the
yes,
looking out the window and then, the comparison they made to her, from the first one where he sits up in the
yes.
background. I
Hmm.
Yeah, nostalgia is great, but some of those are playing it really, really close.
Yeah, it's like, okay, don't ruin it.
Right.
Come on, we come on.
Yeah.
Sosa saying, I wish they stuck with the whole brother and sister thing because to me it gives Michael a reason to kill, kind of motivates him to keep coming back and finish the job. What do you guys think? I'm kind of both ways with it. When Halloween 2 came out in '81, I didn't have a big issue with the brother and sister thing. I still love that sequel. But I will say that his mythology to me, without the sibling angle, it does make him, more scary, because it's kind of like that scene in 2018 when he kind of that one shot where he's looking down the street. You see all the trick-or-treaters, you see the husband and wife that were in kills, and it's basically a roll of the dice. He might let you live, he might kill you, just like that lady's house he walks into and just stabs her as she's looking out the window. And to me, that makes him scarier. It makes his mythology a little bit more, and it keeps it what's the word I want to use? The only problem I have with 2, 4, 5, 6, and even 7 is that Michael was tied to family,
Yeah.
you know, which again, it worked out okay in some respects because I love Danielle Harris and I loved Jamie Lee coming back in H2O, but it really narrowed his lane even more than it already is. You know what I'm saying?
He was no longer the Shape at that point. He was Michael Myers.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was no
Absolutely great point.
longer that faceless, mindless Shape.
That's
He
right.
was a person at that point. Oh, that's my crazy ass brother who's trying to kill me.
Right.
When before he was just nothing.
That's right.
All that stuff Loomis was talking about in the very first one, the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
Yes.
He's nothing. I don't remember the line word for word, but he stared at a
Yes.
wall like he was, seeing past the
Looking at the
wall.
wall, look
Yeah,
past the wall, looking
right.
for this night.
And he wasn't looking for his sister. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He was just that guy that was just nothing. There's
Yeah.
nothing behind those eyes. And you're
Right.
right. That bound him to being my crazy older brother that's trying to kill me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and
Absolutely.
and I think that this new trilogy, and I mean, at the risk of making a lot of Halloween fans mad, Halloween
Mhm.
18 was my second favorite out of all the Halloween movies. It
Mm.
was
Yeah.
because to me it went back to the roots. It went back to what made Halloween so great for me, that idea that there could be this person that has no thoughts, no nothing, no motivation. He's
No
just
conscience.
no, there's nothing there, and I think that's what makes Michael, so much different than the other
Yeah.
guys.
Right.
There's
Right. Right.
nothing there. There's no rhyme. There's no reason.
Mhm.
Jason kills, he has reasons. Freddy kills, he
Yes.
has reasons. Chucky
Yes.
kills, he has reasons.
Mhm.
Ghostface is a whole nother thing because it's
Right.
multiple people. But you know, with Michael, like you said, man, you might as well you roll the dice. You
Yeah,
come
man.
across him, who knows what's going on in his head?
Yeah, you never know, and that's
Yeah,
and that's what I love. And like I said, that scene. And thank you so much for the question, so that was a really good question.
yeah,
But that scene where he was looking down the street, myself in the theater when I saw 2018, I was like, "Uh oh, who's gonna catch it?"
right.
Because you didn't know,
Yeah,
you really didn't know. And even the scene when he escaped from the bus, and he killed the kid, that teenager.
yeah.
He pulled the Annie on him from the
Yep.
back seat. I was like, "Oh my god, he killed that kid." The kid had to have been no older than 13, maybe
If that,
14,
yeah.
if that. So,
Definitely.
I was just like, Michael does not he gives 0 fucks. He
And do you know
really
the bad thing about it was he could have taken the car before the kid even got back in it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, so
Yes.
why? Why kill the kid? You could have left, but no. Maybe it goes along with the lines of what Laurie said in Halloween Kills. The more he kills, the more he transcends. Like
Yes.
maybe it has something to do with that. And maybe I'm reaching kind of far, but the more
Hey.
people he kills, like because Halloween Kills, that's exactly what he did. You know what
Yes.
I mean? He just
Mhm.
I don't even remember what the body count was on that. I'm sure it was in the 30s or 40s or
Right?
something like that. But it's almost like they made that movie like, look, we got to get this guy above Jason. So we're gonna make a movie where
Right.
we just let him go crazy out here and we're gonna get him above Jason. Jason's locked up in court. We're gonna go ahead and let Michael
Right?
pass him up.
Oh my
But yeah,
god.
man, like
Yeah.
that is definitely why 18 in this new trilogy is kind of taken over for me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say Kills is my third favorite movie,
Mhm.
but Halloween 18 is definitely my second favorite.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It is a great movie. I love it so much, man. We're gonna be doing a watch party of it on my channel on Sunday night, and
Excellent.
and it's just gonna be fun. The commentary itself, I mean, the movie is fantastic, but the commentary as you go through it, I think it's a very interesting movie too, and it was a great way for them to bring him back, in my
Definitely.
opinion. As we get ready to wind down here, guys, I'm just gonna catch up with a few more comments. Cody is like, "Who has the better room, Knight or Michael? Chad will decide." Michael's got a really good background, man. I'm not
Come
gonna
on.
lie. I'm jealous because I don't have my Michael mask here with me in this room.
Oh,
And
but I
Michael's
told you about the ends mask.
yes.
Yeah, dude, I had one in my hands. It was almost sitting right up there, but I couldn't get my buddy to give
Oh,
it to me because I wasn't about to give him $70 for it.
oh man. Yeah, that ends mask is it's pretty sweet, man. What's up,
Yeah, I
Daisy?
like it.
How you doing? Nice to see you in the chat. My man Ginger Ninjas in the chat. What's up? What's up? Um, Danny saying, let's talk about the future for a second. Let's say they want to make a sequel to 4 with Ellie Cornell and Daniel Harris. How would you go about it? It's intriguing. It
Ooh,
it almost writes itself, to be quite honest, because now Daniel Harris is at an age where it totally makes sense. It's 20 years later or whatever, and she's even had a couple ideas for a sequel to 4 where it involves her children and wondering if she passed on the evil to them and so forth. Now, granted, you kind of go backwards and you go back into the sibling thing or the family ties. But I will say, I'd still be up for it just to see Danielle Harris back in a Halloween movie, and especially Ellie Cornell, who I thought was done dirty in
totally
Halloween
dirty.
5. And for you guys, if you want to hear more about that, on Sundays, we've been doing the sins of the Halloween movies. This Sunday, we're dropping Halloween 4, the sins of Halloween 4, and we've already recorded the sins of Halloween 5, so keep an eye out for that. But my girl Ellie Cornell was done so dirty in Halloween 5, so any way possible to bring her back, I'd at least be open to the thought of it. What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, definitely. And I hate to break it to you, Knight, but it's been 30 plus years since that happened. We're getting
Yeah,
old, sir. But yeah, so you got to think, okay, let's say that, for Ellie to be alive, so it would have to be the end of Halloween 4, right?
right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So where would Danielle Harris be? The last thing that she did in Halloween 4 was stab her mother, right?
That's right.
So maybe we could
Mm-hmm.
have went through a whole hospital thing with her,
Mm-hmm.
somehow and dealing with that, and maybe Rachel's the only person, to talk to her or after that. I mean, if I don't care, you're not my real kid, and if you stab me, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I'm done with you at that point. If I get
Cutting
stabbed,
ties.
I was trying to draw you a bath and you stab me with a pair of scissors. We're,
Right.
we're finished. But yeah, it could go, with her taking care of her, or something along those lines, to where Michael comes back. And say Michael comes back, I hope he comes back with a better mask, because that
Right.
Halloween 4 mask, I was not
Oh
feeling that, with the
man.
shoulder pads too. He
Oh
kind of,
man.
yeah, like, I loved Halloween 4, but if you could just take
Yes.
that away from it and throw
Yes.
in like the James Drew Courtney look, maybe a little younger, you know what I
Right?
mean? I think that would have been a
Mhm.
10 times better movie than it was. I think that Michael's mask was, oh God, just terrible.
Yes,
But if
absolutely. I
you
agree.
age that up, I definitely think, it might be a little bit of a tough sell outside of Halloween fans who really know
Mhm.
what's going on with that.
Right.
As I was talking about before, with the casual people that just want to see a Michael Myers movie. But
Yeah.
I mean, definitely for the fans, yeah, like, yeah, I would love to see that movie. Like, definitely pay to see that movie.
I would too, bro. I
Yeah.
really would too. Jamie's in the chat too. What's going on, Jamie? Nice to see you.
So,
And Daisy saying, yeah, they did Daniel Harris dirty too. She deserves another chance. I really do agree. And wow, man, as we're starting to head on out, people are jumping in. The net's in the chat, outside the 9. All right. And hopefully, you guys, please hit the like button. That would be great. And anybody that we didn't get to, please leave a
yeah,
comment, and definitely we'll be able to have the conversation more. Who knows, man? We might have to do a part 2 to this, because we've just touched the surface,
I
Michael.
believe so. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
really just touched the surface. And for you guys in the chat, let us know in the comment section down below. Do you want us to have a part 2 discussion on this? Because there's still some other things in this trailer that were very interesting to me that I'd love to get deeper into, and also get some of your thoughts on it too, Michael. Of course, like I said earlier, you guys check out Michael's channel, Movies and Beyond, and you'll definitely be able to see a lot of his material and content, which is absolutely fantastic. So, all right. So, anyways, guys, we're going to get ready to head on out of here. We really appreciate you guys hanging out with us and talking Halloween ends. There's going to be more, because there's just so much to it. And like we said, I don't think we've seen even the meat and potatoes to this story, and I'm really leaning towards the idea of delusions, and also maybe fever dreams. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? All right. So, anyways, we will catch you guys later. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.
Night.